for Ask Me Anything. Has been another chaotic day at Troll Lord Games. But a good day. We've got a lot of stuff wrapped up, which is good. Tim, I assume that we've got sound and video. Everything seems to be working on my end. I assume that it is on yours. I don't, okay, we got sort of video. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. There we go. How's it going, Commander? Can you hear me? Chuck's off gallivanting, and I'm not sure if Tim's got us on the internet, so I'm not sure if the sound is working or not. I assume that it is. Ahoy, all good. All right, good deal. What is it? Tuesday again at close of business. Sound is good. All right, good deal. Yeah, we wrapped up a whole bunch of very small problem areas this afternoon. I've been actually, my wife's on her annual gallivanting around the West vacation. They're hiking somewhere out in Yellowstone or something. So I took the weekend and worked all weekend and just kind of fixed a whole bunch of stuff here at DLG. It had just been getting kind of out of control and disorganized, and I have carried that over into the last couple of days. My personal email account has some 280 emails in it. I got to get in those. Most of it's crap, but some of it's important. So I want to spend the rest of this week bringing everything back up to speed. I'm Chuck today, be gentle. That's the hope. We've got so many things going on around here that it's almost impossible for us to keep up with all of this mess. There's a note. I need to give that to Tim. There's just so much of it, which is a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. We are busy, and books are flying off the shelves, and we're wrapping up projects constantly, so that's a good thing. But we're here to talk about anything you guys want to jibber jabber about. So ask any questions, fire away about Kickstarters, Troll Lord, past, present, or future, and industry stuff. I haven't been paying much attention to the industry for the past month. I'm sure it's still out there. I'm sure things are still happening, but I've paid very little attention to it. I know that Frog God's got a Kickstarter going on, and Dwarven Forge has a Kickstarter going on. I want to say Goodman's got one coming down the pipe, and I feel like I'm supposed to be promoting one. I can't remember now, but all kinds of stuff. And we are log jammed ferociously on a Codex Egyptium Kickstarter. Should have that broken apart by Thursday and resume shipping. I'll have to get an update out to those folks. But the higher pledge levels have not received their books, nor have we reshipped them. I shipped them because we haven't even shipped them or reshipped them because of a variety of issues that have continued to plague the dens, of which we are slowly getting a handle on. So we'll see. Hopefully all that works out. Stupid commercials. Man, I am so far removed from commercials. It's crazy. I use Apple TV, and of course, I messed with my mic. Now I've done it. I don't know what it is. So the mic is slowly descending. It's slowly turning upside down. Let me fix that. But I use Netflix and Hulu and all that mess. And, I don't get any commercials there. And then, of course, we do the whole Apple TV. So I guess that we got, I hate to say it, Amazon Prime, but so we got all that kind of goobly goop. I don't get commercials hardly ever. How's it going, Epi? Haunted Holler, Ultra Magnus, Kedora. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm watching about the Twitch commercials. I don't know, can you still hear me? I messed with my mic. I don't know if I moved it out of the way or I did something or the other. Showing too much skin out there. the 1940s. Man, I wish it was the 1940s sometimes. Men actually dressed decently, wore hats, looked good. It was all good stuff. All right, well, it sounds good. I'll quit messing with it. I don't know what I did, but the tension rod is so, I don't know, stout. I don't know what it is. I don't like to touch it because when I touch it, it does weird things. So that sounded bad, but we'll leave it at that. The Conan book. So I talked to Mike. So I'll give you a little backstory on the ERB. So Mike Tierney wrote. He's actually got a really cool and interesting past. He wrote for us, not for us, but he wrote and we published the Edgar Rice Burroughs art collection set, 4-volume, slipcase, the whole 9 yards. But Mike's been in business. He was in business for 30-odd years, comic books here in town. Had 2 stores, Forever and a Day, really great stores. I used to be a pretty regular customer of Mike's. He's a gigantic fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs. And over the years, he developed a relationship with the Burroughs people out in Los Angeles. Was a good, I don't know, he's a good friend, but he was definitely a friend of Danton Burroughs, the last of the Burroughs, who was in charge of the Burroughs stuff. I believe that's Edgar's grandson. I think Danton was his grandson. And so Mike had this very, and still does, a very good relationship with those people, doing a lot of work for them and with them and the whole 9 yards. So when he actually began putting this art collection together, it was monstrous. Now, I can't remember which program he used. It wasn't a book program. It was an art program. So what he did is he laid out every page of those books. Now, those books are about, 250 pages a piece, oversized, 9 by 12 or whatever it is, and just filled with art and text and all this kind of stuff. He laid all that out and then turned it over to us in single-page PDFs. Well, that was just, there's no way you can fix anything. I mean, as cool as that is, back in 1990, today, when you put it in InDesign or whatever other software, you can do all kinds of stuff, change your page numbers. I know that was a big problem. You can change your page numbers very quickly. All kinds of stuff, backgrounds, all kinds of stuff you can manipulate. So what we did is we took all of his stuff and we put it into four separate books. But we had to put it back together just like he laid it out. And it was not an easy task to do. Mark and Peter Bradley, Mark Sandy did that. I had very little to do with the actual physical side of that, but those guys worked for countless hours putting the book, deconstructing the book, and then putting the book back together in design so that we had access and those files were still a mess because files would go back and forth between Mark and Peter, and it just was a mess. And I'm going to have to take a full 2 or 3 days at some point, sit down, go through, delete the old files, keep the proper files and all that. Anyways, big mess there. But so anyways, there's a lot of work, huge amount of work. So as some of you know, as Ultra has asked, we have a similar collection of books coming out on Robert E. Howard stuff. So now to give you a quick, brief 5-second sort of the original books of Burroughs, it's 4 large, oversized, full-color print volumes that cover all of the Burroughs art from 1910 or 11, whatever it is, to the present. And it includes the art in comic books, novels, magazines, and something else. Two are on comic books. So Mike has been wanting, even as we were doing the Kickstarter for the previous one, Mike has been wanting to do one on Robert E. Howard, and of course Howard's huge. Now the Howard estate's very different than Burroughs' estate. Burroughs made certain that his estate stayed in his family at least for 2 generations, and it's still the Burroughs people still, draw royalties off of movies and comics and whatever they do. Howard, completely different. It's been moved around from whatever vendor to vendor. But a few months ago, we finally got the contract signed to do a similar treatment for Robert E. Howard stuff. So Mike, as soon as those contracts were, the ink wasn't even dry, he was off and going. He was working on that. So he sent me an email the other day. And he said, how do you want to approach these files? Do you want me to do it like we did before, where I lay the book out and send them to you? And so I wrote him, I said, absolutely not do I want. No, we don't want to do that at all. What I want you to do is send all of the art to me and with notes where it goes and then the text, and we'll assemble it on our end, and then you can approve on your end. How's it going, Bifford? But he wasn't keen on that. He's very keen on making certain that the art is sized a very specific way that goes with the text, because he's going to know which pictures are more relevant than other pictures and this whole mess. So we are presently. He's already started working. That I know. But we haven't quite decided how we're going to do the book, because what I want him to do is write it in Word and send it to me in Word and then send us the art. But somewhere in between, I may have to just get him in design. It's a tricky business, but shit, I gotta get enough paper. Can't stop yawning. Thanks, Twitch streams. It's triggered my sleep mode. Yeah, so work has begun. We intend, I'm not sure when how's it going, Decimus? I'm not certain when the Kickstarter is going to be. It could be as early as December, and we run it into January. I was really happy with the Metamorphosis Alpha Kickstarter, the way it played out. It ended at the end of December, I think, and everything funded and whatnot in January. So that was very cool. This I can tell you that by contract we have to have done the Kickstarter by June. So it has to have launched by June and done by July. So within the next 10 months, you're going to see the Kickstarter launched on that. Super excited about it. Of course, I'm a Burroughs guy. Davis, my brother, is a Howard guy. But Howard content is fantastic. So this is going to be an absolute... another jewel, I think. This will be right up there with the Burroughs collection. It's just a fantastic stuff. Super pumped on that. I had to cancel my CNC game, which is why I'm here, due to eyes playing me up and making me too tired to concentrate on running a game. Yeah, I can hear you, man. Bifford, I took lunch outside today, and I ate and pushed the plate back away from me, and I fell asleep so fast it was insane. I woke up like 30 minutes later all twisted around in a chair, so... yeah, more Dr. Pepper is what I apparently need in the morning. Decimus, I hope not. I messed with my I messed with my mic. I hope I didn't mess anything up. What are we talking about? Well, we were talking about the. Let me just go get it. I don't know if some of you guys may not be familiar with it. So next to Hall of Many Pains by Gary Gygax and The Player's Handbook and Codex of Air, this is probably the thing I'm the most proud of that TLG has done. So it's this 4-volume set that comes in a slipcase. And this is the Edgar Rice Burroughs 100-year art chronology. The first book is the pulps. The second book is what? I think that's the novels. I'm pretty sure. The second book is the novels, and the third and fourth book are the comic books. And when you look into these things, they're full color, slightly oversized. And basically what Tierney did, I don't know if you can see that, he took all of the art that has appeared on this one specifically, is the pulps, and he wrote up text about it. It's really an art history book, but it's also a publication history book. All 4 volumes, beautifully rendered, and Walsworth up in Missouri did a fantastic job printing these things. That came out last year, I think, maybe 2 years ago. I've forgotten now, but but a couple months ago, about a month ago, we signed a contract with the folks over at Robert E. Howard's Estates, and we are going to do a similar treatment. It's going to be at least 3 volumes, probably 4. Do a similar treatment on Robert E. Howard's art, the artwork that has appeared on Robert E. Howard's products, not just Conan, but all of it, the Cowboys, all of it. So it's very super excited about that. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, make a great Christmas present for sure. M5, how's it going, man? Yeah, KFC. Man, we gotta do KFC sometime this week. My wife is out all week, so I gotta figure out how to feed these people. I've got 2 meals that I can do: roast and 3: roast, steak, and steak strips. Beyond that, I'm out. So I'm gonna have to do something to feed these people. No, Boffin, you're right. Never enough Dr. Pepper ever. There was an audible thump. Yeah, this thing is heavy. This thing is crazy heavy. It's 17 pounds, I think, when we ship it. It really is. It's Mike did a great job writing it and gathering all the art, and Peter and Mark did a fantastic job laying it out. Walter did a wonderful job printing it. It's just super, super, super good. I have the Gonzalez Centenary edition of the Complete Chronicles of Conan. When you launch this project, save a spot for me. Will do, man. Yep, it'll be there. And that will include a lot of Frazetta. Oh, yeah, tons of Frazetta. Just all kinds. Boris, all kinds of stuff. But even, earlier things, before Frazetta was, the dude, it's just tons of stuff. Absolutely tons of stuff. KFC. All right, you guys are going to get me going to KFC. This should be the Troll Lord AMA and KFC. A roasted steak. There you go. So on Codex Celtarum, wait, I can look at my board. I can tell you. Solicited last month. So what is this? So that was July. It was solicited in July. Although likes to sit on them for 3 months, so sometime in September you should see Celtarum appear in stores. I know his whole operation, the whole Flat River Group Impressions operation has been kind of messed up with the COVID mess as everyone kind of shakes stuff out. But we will see where that lands. But so Codex Celtarum and Codex Egyptium should be shipping to stores in the next 6 weeks, give or take. They'll be available on our stores only after I've gotten even further on the shipping on that. I have mucked that project up 6 ways a Sunday. But I'm really hoping by the end of this week it's rolling again. We got about a third of them out, and then next week we wrap that thing up. Can't driving. There you go. We need KFC and Dr. Pepper to sponsor the Troll Lord AMA. I saw somewhere that Dr. Pepper was trying to become the official sponsor of somebody, which means someone over there did not tell me the truth because they told me that they don't sponsor companies. So I need to reach out. Chuck, Tim, we need to reach out to Dr. Pepper and get them to become an official. They don't have to do anything. Just let us put Dr. Pepper logos up. That's all we got to do. The NPC book. So, good, delayed, primarily because of COVID. Davis's writing schedule has been mucked up 8 ways a Sunday. All of that said, he's coming by here in about an hour and a half on his way back to the mountains, and that I know is his primary objective is to wrap that book up. I'm hoping up in the next 30 days he's done with his end of it and he passes it on to us for all the art treatment and all that stuff. So we'll get an update on that. I'll have a better idea of that in an hour or so, and we'll send an update to all backers. But I'm really anticipating, and I told him a week ago when I sat down with him that this is really, I want us to wrap this up. Wrap it up and get her gone. So Haunted Holler, the Codex, the Egyptian Codex, about a third of it is shipped out to backers. It's going to take us a couple more days to get these others out rolling again. We've just had some never-ending problems with this Kickstarter, all of which can be dropped here on my desk. But we should have all of that ironed out. Shipping resumes Thursday, I hope, Friday at the latest. And then next week we're going to wrap it up Monday and Tuesday. And then after that we'll get it up on the site and start selling it to everybody out there. So hopefully very, very soon. It's one of those, the CKG was, the CKG did this a similar way. It became this Kickstarter that you just kept on giving. It just wouldn't yield, and this one's not yielding for a variety of reasons. I think it's the first, there's just been enough. I don't know. I don't like excuses. I've mucked this up quite a bit. It didn't get the attention that it needed, and then the attention that it got was all inclusive. So we'll just leave it all at that. It's fantastic stuff coming out, but yet another slight delay. I'm in a hot seat. We'll get Egyptium out very, very soon. A third of you should have it. Quite a few of you should have it already. About a third, give or take. I will tell you that I'm having to reprint one of the support books, and this is part of the problem because so we sent it to editing, and it was edited, and then we sent it to the proofers, and I know some of you guys are the proofers, and it was proofed by 3 different people. And then I had the bright idea So one of the things that I attempt to do around here is get our lines to look alike. Now, this is difficult to do because everyone writes in a different style. No one will do an adventure in the same way, and none of us like to use templates. I don't know why. I give everyone a template, and they go off the template instantaneously, as if they never looked at it. So I'm not sure what that's about. Free spirits. It's the nature of castles and crusades, isn't it? But anyways, what the hell is so Valleys of KMR is one of these books. Now, I sat down and I wanted to get the line to look alike. Well, the first one that came out, Dark and Fold, came out like 3 or 4 years ago, and it had a way it looked. And then the next one looked like that. And then in the third one, Alstrag, I changed it for some reason. I don't know why. Probably didn't catch. I did that one and I didn't catch it to make it look like the other one. And it was really just the first line, the little header that starts the whole thing. So when I did KMR, I wrote, in thinking in my head, I want to do what they look like. I did the one like Alstrag, and I wrote it in there, sent it to the editing. It came back from editing, and then when I looked at it again, I noticed that Dark and Fold Gotland were done one way, Alstrag was done a different way, and I thought, well, let's do this book like the other 2 books, and then fix Alstrag, since it's the 2 to 1, right? So I changed it from a general description of the title, subtitle should read, the very first thing that you should read when you open up the Valleys of KMR and Alstrag was a general description of the region, I think is what it says. Well, a general history of the region. Well, I changed that so that it would mimic Dark and Fold and Gotland to just say the title of the book, which is Gotland and Dark and Fold, and in this case, the Valleys of KMR. So I had by the time I decided to do this, I had gotten it back from the editors and the proofers, and I wrote in Valleys of KMR, and I misspelled valleys, and I didn't see it, and obviously none of the editors saw it. It was like one of the last things I did to the book before printed, and Todd bound it and cut it, and it's all in boxes ready to ship. And then Tim told me today, hey, we misspelled valleys. It's all on me. I did it. So we're going to dump that entire load, reprint, rebind. I had the covers, rush job on the covers. We'll pay out the nose for that one, but we're going to get it fixed, and we're going to get it fixed correctly. And I went through it. I changed them all to say a general history of the region or whatever it is. So it's just one of those things. It's lots of time that these books come out. They don't come out like a comic book in a serial fashion. One will come out in January and one comes out in 10 months later, and Peter Bradley, who does the initial layout, may not see changes made at the end of it, and if I don't have the wherewithal or whatever time to go back or even think about it, to go back and look to see what it looks like, then line errors, not really errors, well, the spelling was a mistake, but they all look alike is not essential to making them good books, but it's essential to my brain pan to making it a little bit, plus the template would be fantastic. And there you go. That's just the way to keep him sweet. Yeah, that's what I need. I have my voucher I want on here that is wasn't I supposed to do something? Amount of Mr. Obadiah. Let's see, you go to the Keldar. Yeah, it should be next week, Obadiah. It should be next week. I'll have it up on the site. Yeah. So if you look at the adventures, the hardest thing. So years ago, if I can find one that I wrote, so years ago, and I'm going to try to do this from memory. The idea, one of the hardest things I have to do when it comes on my desk is write the ad copy. And I don't read all of these adventures. I kind of said, Davis, what are you writing about? I'm doing a desert adventure, da-da-da-da, it's going to have a chimera in it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Cool. So when I get it, and then it goes to editing, sometimes I read those adventures, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how busy I am, and I'm usually very busy, so it goes right to editing. And it's either Dan Cross or Tim Burns or whoever's editing it, and if they notice oddities or whatever, they fix them. But then I have to write the ad copy, so I have to figure out what the book's about. So then I have to get a hold of Jason or Brian or Davis and say, hey, I need some ad copy. So to circumvent that problem, and the way it's supposed to go in the template, and if you look at mine, most of mine are like this, but I guarantee you I deviate too. So the first paragraph of any adventure should be, this adventure is a desert adventure that involves high-level monsters. It is designed for characters of blah. And then the second paragraph should be the ad copy. The second paragraph should be what goes on the back of the book. It's just kind of a recap of what's coming. So when the CK opens it at the store, they read the ad copy, they open the store, they can see everything that they need in those first two paragraphs. And then it says introduction, then Castle Keeper's material, then Wandering Monster chart, and so on down the line. No one follows this template. Davis sure as hell doesn't follow this template. Davis goes from, he will write one adventure. He wrote 2 adventures last month, and both of them were written in different styles. So it's quite something else. But Brian writes in his own style. Jason kind of follows it. He tries to. But a style guide would be great. We've got one around here. I've sent it to everybody except Jason. I bet you Jason never got the style guide, but no one follows it. No one's going to look at it. It just isn't going to happen. And there's just funny things right here. He can blame aliens, exactly. That's right, Mark. So, what I need is I need like a cue card style guide that I can nail up on Davis's wall. It's interesting. It's just funny how everyone does things a little bit differently. And Davis is the funniest because he has like just ideas, and he just runs with them. And he'll be sitting there writing, and he has this idea, and he just wants to run with it. He doesn't want to have to stop and ask me what the way we do something, or what's the best way, or what's the template say, or whatever. So here's just a good example, and I was up till about 1 o'clock the other night trying to decipher his map. He drew his maps in this program, and he sent them, and then he took off to take care of his personal business that he had to this week. And I got the map, and there was 4 of them, and I was going through them, and there was 29 rooms, and only like 9 of them were numbered. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, Davis has done something that lets the whatever. So I tried to just kind of piece it together, and I couldn't, and I didn't want to read it. I was too tired, too exhausted. But then I had to sit down, and I started reading this thing. But I did notice that everywhere on his maps, because he did some kind of program with these tiny little white squares, I didn't know what those were. I just assumed it was a pit or something in the text. So after trying to decipher where numbers would go and how he laid this thing out in his head, these towers and whatnot, I said, okay, wait a minute, what are these pits? So then I started looking for the pits in the text, and I couldn't find anything. And then it hit me. I counted the pits, and sure enough, there was 9 rooms and 20 pits. And I thought, his computer program didn't save the numbers. Those little white boxes are actually room numbers. So then I crawled into Davis's head, and I began to puzzle out the way he did it. And the way he laid the dungeon out isn't wrong. It's just not the way I would have done it. And it took me forever to figure it out. So when you go in, there's room 1 and 2 and 3, and then 4, but 4 is the bottom of a tower, and then 5 is the second floor of that tower, 6 is the third floor, and then 8 was the first floor of the other tower, then 9, and then 10, and then on to so what he would do is he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever. And it's very interesting. It took me forever to figure that out. And it's not the way I would have done it. It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong about what he did, because it's natural to assume that if you go into the first floor of a tower, that you're going to go to the second floor of the tower next, and the room should be the next one in the text. So at any rate, it's things like that all of the writers are doing. It's a very creative process, and there's a lot of imagination going on. There's all kinds of fantasy stuff, whatever it is, the beyond the whatever. And I don't know, when you're writing this stuff, I think you kind of have to look at it a little differently. And a template in that regard becomes more of a hindrance to the writing, and that's something I would never want a style guide or a template or my annoyance to come in the way of people, of Davis and Jason and Brian specifically, really pushing those creative boundaries. So I'm pretty lenient on it. The only thing I wish that they would do is put the damn ad copy in that first column, because then it would make doing the book cover so very much easier. So the map is like a riddle. Yes. Oh, it was a crazy riddle to figure it out, and it's going to take a little. I put some text in there. It's going to take a little bit of thinking for the CK. There's no doubt. But I thought, you know what? Since I can if I can bully my way through this, then everybody can. That's what. That's where we'll leave it. You need to reject stuff that doesn't. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I could do that till I'm blue in the face, Bifford, but it doesn't matter. And at this point, the old dogs, specifically Peter and Davis, are so in their their trenches, they're just not going to change. Which is it's fine. It's just something that I need to figure out a way to work around. One of the things that I'm going to do is start, like, here's just a very small little snippet of insight. So when Davis sends a text to me, I take it, edit it, whatever. When I get it to lay out, it goes to Peter. So Peter just lays it out and he sends it back to me for art treatments or whatever it might need. And, because sometimes we reuse art, or I have already got pictures done it from Zoe or Jason or whatever, and I hadn't given it to Peter. So Peter will just call it, he just saves it, and it'll be like, what did we just do? I don't know, Edgar Rice Burroughs, so it'll be like Edgar-Rice-Burroughs-. So I've got to take that file and rename it into TLG, stock code, and then the title, blah, blah, blah. And this causes just a smidgen, it's a little bit more work for me to have to do, and it causes a little bit of a problem, because when I package it, like the other day, I packaged a product, and it creates a your a duplicate of what you've got, and the other one is you don't want to use it anymore. But the other one, the one you're packaging, is still open. Well, I created the package, and then I kept putting edits in the open one. Well, I figured that out about 4 pages into it, and Tim heard me cussing and yelling and over Skype. I was quite irritated so what I'm going to do to circumvent that is I'm actually going to start the InDesign file, the package file for Peter, named with the stock code, and send that to him, and in the text, because for me it takes all of 5 minutes, and then we won't have the stock code issues, because Peter doesn't know the stock codes. I'd have to send him all that information, then he'd have to stop doing his art and figure all that out, and I really don't want Peter to have to mess with that crap. I want him to draw pictures. So it's just one of those things. It's creating workarounds, I think, that avoid the negative sides of a template. That is what my present state of mind is. Though, Bifford, I may get to the point that the templates are necessary. Once again, any chance of getting merch in the store? Yeah, Epi, I know it's a constant conversation around here. Tim and Chuck have got a couple of sites online that they're talking to, but I have no ETA on that. I would love to see all of that stuff back, but soon. Anything you require, even if it's only a card on a wall, is just the same as a loose template. So why not create a template in earnest? Yeah, like I said, we've got them. We got them around here. It's just getting everyone to follow them is the challenging part. Or the editor pulls it all into order. That's actually work that doesn't need to be done if the writer's work to start. Yeah, and I don't. The editors, a lot of the guys like the proofers and stuff, they're not going to know what to look for. And then it gets into this. It's not even that easy. I'm trying to think of a book. Because when Mark and I laid out the template a couple of years ago, when Mark Sandy was doing a lot of layout, and there's four headers. There's the header, subheader, and then a very small header. And then anytime you have one thing that goes underneath it, you use the smaller header and downline. But it turns out that in these damn games, there's sometimes 7 and 8 things underneath, and lists of stuff all over the place that go inside of something that goes inside of something that goes inside of something. So your templates begin to fall apart relatively quickly, unless you can somehow anticipate all of this extraneous stuff. And this is just with CNC, and it's pretty damn easy. But this must be a first at AMA Tuesday, focused on TLG products and not miscellaneous. That's right. That's true. What's going on, Vic? What's going on? Funny that I'm wearing a Gaxmore t-shirt. Gaxmore, hell yeah. So the map is like a little yes. Do not crawl into Davis's head. We have to send a rescue party. Yeah, it's an interesting place, let me tell you. Davis and I grew up together forever, so I kind of know what he's thinking. He knows what I'm thinking too. He can kind of anticipate. He probably knows better than he's smarter than I am, so he knows my reactions better, and mine are pretty simple. So, Davis. Yeah, there's a lot of shouting, Davis. And he just laughs and moves on. So, there you go. I purchased the Compendium of Weapons, Armor, and Castles on UCS and love it. Oh, it's a great book. Andy, man, I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's just a great book. It really, for that genre, it's the thing. Have you watched the show on Netflix called Cursed? I have not yet. I think I watched the first 15 minutes and got distracted and had to leave. Is this the one with there's like a witch girl who's being oppressed or something? I can't remember. They were killing them or something? I can't remember. Speaking of templates, do you have a template guide for adventure design? Yes, Vic, somewhere around here I do. It's one of those things that I send to everybody. This is the way, and it's really simple. I mean, it's like a one-page thing. I probably should send it to everybody again, just so that maybe they'll start working on it again. Good deal. Yes, a Fable. Yeah. I watched like 15 minutes. I got to the point when I got interrupted and had to turn it off. Some priests were burning a village down or something and killing some children and whatnot. That's where I got yanked out of there. Cursed is great. Seen first episode. It's the story of the lass who came before King Arthur. That's the one. Yeah. Because it starts with her. The credits have her falling into the ocean. Not the ocean. Falling into a lake, bleeding or something. And getting some interesting inspiration for what to do to my adventures. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I absolutely love. I love combing stuff for that. See what happened? You actually, Vic, you mentioned that you mentioned we were on a troller topic, and now we're off to movies. You jinxed us. We immediately got off track. Wait a minute, Tim sent me something. If you're reading this out, yeah. He just wrote me a text and said, for after the show, if you are reading this out loud, stop. Because I was reading it out loud. All right, yeah, there you go. What programming software do you use to do your layout design? Right now I am using InDesign to work on a module layout, but I would love to hear what you find to be the easiest to use. We went from PageMaker to InDesign, and we have been with InDesign since it's the same company, since we started back in 2000. I absolutely love InDesign. It's very easy to work with. I know that Peter's toyed with a couple of different programs, but I really don't know what they are. And I think Quark, some of us may have used, was it Quark? Or was Quark a Photoshop? I can't remember. But I've stuck with InDesign. I absolutely love that program. I do the subscription. We got a business subscription, so we got quite a few copies floating around for the employees. And it's, man, do I love that. I absolutely love it. And I love Photoshop, and I love the Adobe stuff. I'm just a huge fan of that, all of that stuff. Just a matter of time, right? I'm waiting to use the man catcher and similar weapons. Man, the man catcher is awesome. It's just awesome. It's prepared to have some very angry players, though. It's the equivalent of your older brother holding your head while you try to swing at him. It's just great. But it's not really quirky. Yeah, I don't know. The only problem that I have with my Adobe suite is they'll do an update of whatever program, and then even if I click don't change my preferences, it goes in and changes all my preferences. And then I got to go kind of reassemble all of the crap because I kind of like it, my window is set how I like it. So it's just, that's probably the only thing I find annoying about it. Affinity Publisher, I think that's the one Peter's been trying. It's great if I'm Commander Pete. I think that's Peter Bradley, our main artist guy. I can't think of his name. I can't think of his title. I think he's been toying with Affinity, but I don't need him to. I don't need files in different. Everything's in InDesign. In fact, I can't even open my PageMaker files. InDesign won't support PageMaker anymore, so I can't get my old crap open. Photoshop and GIMP have much the same features. Speaking of which, Epi, wasn't I supposed to send you a bunch of zip drives? I think I was supposed to send you a whole bunch of zip drives. Maybe I can send you a bunch of PageMaker files, too. There you go. GIMP. I've used GIMP before. A long, long time ago I used that. I can't remember if I liked it or not, but Photoshop does everything I needed to do, so I just stick with my guns there. But at any rate, so this all gives you kind of an idea of it's not even chaos, and it's not even, it's just a creative process with a lot of creative people, and I try my damnedest to not restrict that creativity with too much, and I figure templates and stuff like that, like Jason Vey, you can give Jason a subject and he'll run with it, But if you constrain him too much, I need X, Y, and Z, then his creativity, he'll shift to what, he's extraordinarily professional at what he does, and he'll shift to what you need and what I ask for, but I know that that's going to restrict his creativity. And when you really, with people like Jason and Davis and Brian and Peter on the art side of things, when you put constraints on their kind of imaginative process, and I don't want to overblow any of this, but I mean, when you put constraints on it, then they're working within this kind of construct, and they think, they won't think out of this and then whatever, and then just go with whatever crazy crap that they've concocted, which is part of really the joy of this type of medium, right? Is just the imagination is unleashed. It's not like a movie or a TV or a video game or a board game or a card game or any of that crap. It is your imagination unleashed. Go. And if these guys can create, write, and feed y'all's imagination, then that's even better, so that you're not even living you're not living in their world or their brain. You're taking their stuff and going, I can do all of this with it. That's cool. Yeah, Decimus, it can. I need to get that stuff to you, Epi. It's interesting. And, everyone around here gets along very, very well. And even, all of it, just, there's very little rancor that I run into from anybody. It's mostly my rage at one thing or the other, me misspelling the word valleys or something. But, the creative process is entertaining. It's very entertaining. But it's a good thing. And it's what we do. And it is. We got a pretty tight crew. Everybody gets along and everybody responds very, very well. So that's good. And everybody understands what deadlines are, and they understand the importance of this. And it's a good thing. That, and we have an insanely patient and forgiving group of gamers that support us. That's you guys. So as we weave through the madness of this stuff. Lots of fun, though. It is lots of fun. As frustrating as it can be. And let me tell you, at about 11:30 Sunday night, when I worked on it from trying to unriddle Davis's map. I worked on it. Peter worked on it first. He worked on it Sunday and sent them all to me the best he could do. And then I took Peter's stuff and tried to marry it up with Davis' stuff. And I worked on it for about 2 hours Sunday night after dinner, 7 to 9 or 10 or something. And I was getting so frustrated and so angry because I could not figure out. And then when I realized that so many numbered rooms were missing, I thought, well, there's no way. I can't. And I didn't want to bother Davis because he's taking care of some personal stuff. But, so I went upstairs at like 10 and watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia for about an hour, which is about as disconnecting as you can get if you like crass humor and some I don't even know how to describe Always Sunny. Watch some trailers before you watch it. It's pretty it's like the evil Seinfeld. I don't know. It's like not even evil. It's like I have no idea. Anyways, so I went up and watched Always Sunny for a little while, and then kicked on Fury Road and watched about 30 minutes of Fury Road. And while I was watching some trucks blow up or whatever, it hit me. Oh shit! Wait, I know what Davis did. And then I immediately came downstairs and hammered away for about an hour and a half, 2 hours to fix the maps. Now we'll find out later that I did it all wrong, but but we'll see. Always Sunny is like Cheers if the characters had no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Oh yeah, they've got no redeeming qualities. None that I can think of. I want to watch Always Sunny, but it's not on any of the streaming. Oh, that sucks. Wait, is it? What am I? I'm watching it on Hulu right now. I think I'm watching it on Hulu. So I'm not sure if you got it out there, Commander. But it's watch some of it on YouTube. It is like nothing I've ever watched, but it really is just unplugged, which is great. Always Sunny is hilarity. Also a guide on how not to. Yes, exactly. Do you ever play an RPG yourself? Or always a CK? If you play, do you have a favorite character to play? I rarely play. Once in a blue moon, Chris Harris will run a game, or Mac will run a game, or Todd will, but it's not for very long. It's 2 or 3 games, and then we get back to the normal, me running it. when I play, it's almost always a fighter, and I think there's a few reasons for that. One is my favorite class. A dwarf fighter is my favorite class. A human fighter followed that, then a human cleric. And I play extraordinarily violently at the table, and I think that I do that. I think I picked the fighter for that reason, or because I don't get to play very much, I just want to fight constantly. As opposed to, when you're low level, you cast a couple of spells and you're out of the running. But so that's my favorite is definitely a fighter. I think I want to play a fighter in someone's game that's being streamed in October at whatever Greyhawk Con or whatever con I'm going to. But yeah, I think it's Lord Kasumba. I think it's your game that I'm in. Yeah, absolutely love the dwarf fighter, and I just love to fight. I occasionally will play. I get it in my head. There you go. Occasionally I get it in my head. I'm gonna play a wizard. The last wizard I played was Photius, and I think I made it to second level. I think, and I remember dying because there was about 10 or 15 boar riding goblins surrounding the party, and the whole party was hunkered down, hiding behind trees and up on this hillock, trying to draw them into attacking us. And that went on for a while. And Davis doesn't play that way. Davis plays his monsters very smart. So I attacked. I threw my magic missile and then pulled my dagger and ran down the hill and promptly got killed. So, so there you go. Blood fail. If Frasier's about neurotics, always is about narcissists. Yeah, Decimus, it's narcissist and then some. I mean, and let me tell you. So if you do get a chance to watch it, I recommend that you watch it in order. You don't have to, but the reason is watch Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito everyone on the show is fantastic. Everyone on the show is fantastic. I can't remember the woman's name, the blonde's name. She might have a genius to her timing. Her timing is impeccable. She's so funny. But watch Danny DeVito's evolution and pay particular attention to his evolution, because he starts out as this guy who's the father of two of the characters. And he slowly evolves that by season 10, he's one of the most despicable humans you will ever see. It's Sweet D, yeah. I can't remember her name, the actress's name, Katie, something. But she is, she's just genius. She's just genius. And she's the perfect foil for all of them. Caitlin Olsen, yeah. I mean, she's great. Now, like I said, everyone on that show is fantastic. The guy who plays Dennis, his rage fits are just beyond compare. Charlie's funnier than crap, and Mac's slow evolution is funny too. But frickin' Danny DeVito, DeVito is he's spitting food. It's just crazy. You just gotta watch it. I absolutely love Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's good stuff. Dude, you gotta watch it. Now, I warn you, though, it is no gloves on this television show. There is no gloves on this television show. And whoever said it earlier, none of these guys have redeeming qualities. So if you're easily offended, don't watch this show because there's no gloves on it. And it's why I like it. I'm very hard to offend. It's not easy to offend me. And I enjoy just crass humor. And it's not even that. It's their reactions that are so, I don't know. You just gotta watch it. you just gotta watch it. It's something else. But it's no gloves. It was so weird seeing Charlie Day in Pacific Rim after being used to it. Oh, I love Archer, Mark. Yeah, so Pacific Rim, I don't even remember Charlie Day in that. That's so funny. I definitely watched that movie. It's a good action flick. He's been in a couple of things I've seen him in, but his character in Always Sunny is just... I watched the scene the other day. It was so funny. They're doing a global warming thing, and the whole bar's trying to save the planet from global warming and everything, and Charlie just doesn't care. His character doesn't care about anything except killing rats in the bar. And he's just playing along with it, humoring everyone. At one point, he says, well, let's just take a bus. And Caitlin, Sweet D says, take a bus? Take a bus, Charlie? Do you have any idea how much pollution a bus causes? And he looks at her and he goes, I don't know, 3? It was so it was so funny because it's like that's how we all know pollution's bad, but we don't know what it is. We don't really know how many parts per million of whatever. Anyways, I could sing the praises of that show all day. Just horrible bosses. Yeah, he was in that. Huge fan of Archer. A new season's coming out. It's called Archer Woke or something. I don't know. It's going to be great. I absolutely love Archer. Tim does too. Tim's a huge fan of that. I like the early seasons of Archer. The last couple of seasons went... Yeah, I was iffy on the whole... I know what the creator was bored, I think, with his normal thing. So he'd sent him out, and he did like an island adventure, a detective one. All the characters were in Archer's dreams, of course. They were okay. They were all right. But they lost their kind of... that zing from the earlier ones. The danger zone. Lana! I do this to my wife all the time. I'm always going, Kathy! She just won't play. She watches Archer too, so she won't play into it. I love it when Lana screams at her, what? You're in the danger zone? I'm going to have to go watch some Archer now. Watch Archer in a few months. Pacific Rim, really struggled watching that because of the terrible attempted offset. I didn't pick up on that. I think you might be a little more sensitive to that. The show was cool. It was just, it was one of those things. I feel like too many action movies are going too far on the CGI, and it's enough already. Let's see Bruce Willis step on some glass, and what does he say? He says shoot the glass, something the Fenster. I can't remember the German for it. But let's go back to a little bit of actual action where the actual stars are doing something. I think that's one reason I don't care for a lot. I shouldn't say I don't care for. Just play Barry. Barry! I don't... The superhero movies I've kind of tired of because they got these great actors. I mean, these guys are doing great jobs on screen, and then they shift to the CGI stuff. They're doing all this whatever. And it's okay, some of it. But I much prefer it go like Fury Road or Atomic Blonde, where we're doing the action sequences are people doing these action sequences. If you've not seen either of those movies, I highly recommend Atomic Blonde. Oh my good lord, one of the best action movies of all time. And Fury Road is just, it catapulted into my top 5 movies. It's just fantastic. Lots of good action. There's a little CGI, I'm sure, but it doesn't rely too heavily on it. Good stuff. Outlaw Country. Man, that reminded me of... Man, that triggered something, Decimus. That reminded me of Outlaw Country on GTA, which I play quite a bit. I may have to turn on the Xbox tonight and play some GTA. Oh yeah, Atomic Blonde. I think the first Jason Bourne movie, I enjoyed them all. The first one was really super good, and then they just played it. They played it to death. They just went too over the top with it. But Atomic Blonde. I don't know, man, those action sequences are just... Plus, it was in the 80s, so they ratcheted it all down. There's no James Bond shit, flying cars or whatever. It's just... There were some outrageous action sequences, but by and large, it's just these spies killing each other. I watched The Old Guard. That was all right. Odd. I didn't... It was okay. I enjoyed it. It's pretty much company policy that if Charlize Theron is in a movie, we have to watch it. So, so there you go. So I definitely watched that. Not as good as Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde is a good flick. Yeah, I think so. I think I read plans. I read that they have plans for more on both, actually, Old Guard and Atomic Blonde. I think they're going to do a few more. I know they're doing more for Old Guard. I have heard that they're doing more for Atomic Blonde. I haven't seen that confirmed, but yeah, Old Guard is set up brilliantly for the next movie. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, these days, Ghidorah, you got to. I mean, it's crazy out there. Though I have to say, I do really appreciate original scripts, and that's kind of what. And I shouldn't say these other things aren't original, but Atomic Blonde was different than the other spy movies that we saw, and that had kind of the spy list that has to get out, whatever they're after, but. John Goodman's... Is that his name? John Goodman? Goodman? Yeah, not Goodall. Joan Goodall was the ape woman, and John Goodman is the actor. His role in it was really cool. It's just a good movie. Just a really good, different movie. Yeah, Bifford, that's about it for us. That's a good call. It is now almost 5 o'clock. We're wrapping up. Everybody, thank you for showing up. Thanks for joining us, for asking me anything. Sure appreciate it. And I enjoyed talking about Troll Lord for once, but that's good. Normally I get off on a tangent. But you can't go wrong with Old Guard, Atomic Blonde, or Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Everybody, go back, watch a little Always Sunny, enjoy. But I warn you, it's rough. It's rough on the psyche. So, okay, everybody, y'all have a good evening. No problem. Thank you, Ultra Magnus. Thank you, Obadiah, for showing up. Sure appreciate it. And we will see you Thursday for GM's Tricks of the Trade. 61, I think, is where we are. And miniatures tomorrow. Chuck on Saturday, I think. So, all right, we will see everybody. Thanks again, everybody. Sure enjoy it. We will see you all later. How do I stop this craziness? All right, here we go. Take it easy, everybody.